Hello and welcome to the Energy Medicine Solution Workshop Series. And today I'm introducing everybody to my good friend, Vera Halina. And the great thing is that we went to massage therapy school together and we've been reconnected during this book, The Creation of the Energy Medicine Solution, Mind-Blowing Results to Live an Extraordinary Life. So thank you for being here, Vera.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be here. It's awesome.
So please tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, as you can see in my name here, it's Vera Halina, and I am a licensed massage therapist in Connecticut. I'm also a certified Chinese herbalist, and I am a registered yoga teacher. As you can see, I'm really into holistic healing, finding all these different ways to feel good, feel better in our bodies without, having to rely on any medicines or, surgeries and things like that. So trying to stay well as long as we can.
Absolutely, especially right now with the last 3 years, right?
Exactly.
It's been very interesting.
And that was definitely the impetus to get me to go ahead and try to write a chapter for your book. I felt like, okay, here we are in this whole new world. And this has been medicine that's been here for thousands of years, but nobody really looked at it because Western medicine was so good at, taking care of all of our needs. We've got CVS everywhere. You can always grab something. But back in the day, they relied on the plants and the food that they ate, to have a long, healthy life. And what I found with Western medicine is that they're very good for trauma, but long, chronic issues, it's always been a disaster. And when I started with massage, I was getting a lot of people on my table that I just couldn't help outside of the room. And that's when I discovered I was talking to a person who owned a healing herb center. And she's like, you need to go to this school and you need to learn this so you can continue to help your clients. So that's how I kind of got from one place to the next. But it all came together. It was all for healing. It was just, I felt like there were moments where they needed something and I just couldn't be there, so it was great to be able to offer things.
Yeah, when they're not on our table, because
Right.
I think there's a lot of people who are used to believing that they need the massage every couple of weeks, right? But when we introduce all these other modalities and these herbals and teas that you have, it helps them go longer between their sessions.
Right.
And it
And,
helps.
again, I heard somebody say, which I'm not really a true believer in that because I have had people truly heal on my table, like completely gone completely. But they're like, oh, you're treating some symptoms. But, I felt like, okay, well, yeah, we're doing, that work and it may last a week or two. But the herbs, they will actually go in and target and go into the root cause. And that's what we want. Where did this pain start? Where did this chronic illness start? Let's get at it and get it gone so you can, feel better and have a better quality of life.
Absolutely. We didn't come here to be sick and depressed and have a hard life. We came here to really flourish. And so I love that you're bringing this to the community and reaching out to more people. So can you share why are you so passionate about it? Do you have some stories?
Yeah, I do have a story. I mean, we all have a story, right? My story was a little bit before I met you. I had a couple very bad car accidents that I shouldn't have walked away from. And it was the beginning of massage school. I just had so much pain. So I went doctor to doctor. I ended up at, the doctor that looks at arthritis pain. And they realized that I had fibromyalgia. So what I did, again, you do the research, and what I found was people who do have it, they had some type of trauma in their life, whether it was physical or emotional or both. And I was getting a lot of that. Of course, we track those people on our table, right?
Yeah.
So I got to see all the symptoms from, sleeplessness to migraines to, muscle pain, all the different things that came with it. So I was like, okay, now this all makes sense. And I was very grateful that I was in the very beginning of massage school and, they taught us all these different, Eastern theories of how we should look at our body. And that really helped me, continue that journey. And again, because I was in that place of healing, I could show people what I did for me, you
Right.
know, and so I tried everything, and everything that I tried really did work. So I had people that were sent to me by some really cool doctors that had high blood pressure and things like that. And they said, well, you're either going to go get massages or I'm going to put you on these pills.
Mm,
So they chose to come see me. And again, once we started working things out, the massages helped quite a bit. But then, you know, I knew of teas that would actually keep and regulate all of the high blood pressure symptoms for him. And it was just great. It was just great because I couldn't be with him every single day, but he showed up, when he was supposed to because he didn't want to go on the pills. And it really worked out well. So that's really, my journey was, going through all of the fibromyalgia pain
mm,
and issues that came with it, and then seeing it again on my table with my clients. So then I could go, hey, this worked for me. Why don't you try this?
right.
And it's always turned out to be something great. Sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes it's a big aha, like, wow, this has changed my life.
Yeah.
So I continue to do it because I know it works.
I totally agree because I've seen the same thing and it just keeps us going, right?
Yes.
It just fills us up when somebody's on our table and we've done something to help them and that
Yeah,
we don't know. We have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in that session, but
exactly.
magic happens at times and it
Right.
just blows you away. And it's the energy, right? It's the energy that you bring to the table. And the person on the table has to be open and
Right.
and ready for that next shift.
And I find for the most part, if they're coming to see us, they're either at the very end of their journey, like they've tried everything, or
Yes.
somebody had suggested it and they're like open enough,
Yeah.
to walk in the door.
Yeah.
So if the door's a little bit open, then we just kind of go right in
Crack
there
it
and
open even more.
give them all the new stuff so they can, walk out with some really great healing.
Yeah. So what other results have you seen with your clients?
Well, like I said, the high blood pressure is a big deal. The teas are amazing for inflammation. I have different teas I created for different issues. Um, Very simply, in Chinese medicine, we work with the upper burner, the middle burner, and the lower burner. And so I designed some teas that would just target those areas. So if you came in and, you had belly issues. I've got stuff for your gut. And I'm sure some people have tried ginger. They tell you take ginger ale, right? That's that first one. Oh, you got a stomach ache, take ginger ale, right? And then there's ginger tabs and it gets stronger and stronger. So the teas, I've got some nice chunks in there and it really gets right to, the root of the belly.
Mm,
And I've got things for sleeping. Again, a lot of us have insomnia, and what I'm looking at is I'm really targeting now because it's on the other side, hopefully, of COVID, of allowing people to continue to heal things that may have not healed correctly for them. Some people still do have gut issues. Some people, do have different chronic lung issues and fatigue, chronic fatigue.
wow.
So that's what I'm seeing on my table, people that are kind of going through rehab, whatever they're doing, but they're ending up on my table. And of course, with the teas, I'm like, yes, let's do this. People walk out with a tea or two, to bring home for them or their family members. So I think it's important, it's just another thing that you can do for yourself that,
Mhm.
you know, you can't keep running to CVS every 10 minutes for something, It's so nice to go, oh, I have this, and even if somebody, one of your little ones or whatever say, hey, my stomach hurts or, I've got, a headache or whatever. There's definitely herbs in all of my teas and they do focus on those issues. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some people who are a little skeptical or a little not sure of trying something new. Are there any side effects or anything that could come up?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I've been doing this a little over 15 years with the herbs. It's about 23 with the massage. And I really haven't had any adverse reactions. I do tell people if they're on blood thinners, my older people who, are on Coumadin or something like that,
Right.
herbs are natural blood thinners. That's what they do, and it's awesome because that they go in and, they get to where they need to go. And so naturally, it's creating that
Right.
space. So if you're already on something like that, I would be a little bit concerned. But I mean, honestly, I haven't really had any herbs that I know would be adverse. Now, the reason why is because they're coming to me as an herbalist, okay? So, abracadabra, oh, I want a pill to lose weight. I want a pill, but okay, fine. But, the reason why I'm gaining weight may be a different reason why you're gaining weight. My gallbladder may not be synthesizing oils or salts, right? And so I'm blowing up. Your kidneys may not be working and, getting rid of the water. So I need to know that, and once we figure
Yes.
that out, then there's a perfect formula and all of a sudden the weight starts coming off.
Mhm.
So you have to really sit down with an herbalist, someone who's trained, who understands how they're working. Or, for instance, I've had people who like they come to the massage, they're like, don't put the heat on the table. They're always hot, right? So
Right.
I'm not going to give them a ginger, a hot herb for their belly. I'm going to give them a peppermint, something that cools them. And I'm going to talk to them about cooling foods and things like that. So everybody has their own constitution that they're walking in with. So that would be the only adverse, So if I gave you ginger and you run hot and you're like, Vera, I'm burning up, so that could be an issue. But,
Yeah.
as far as like a pharmaceutical issue where you're going into liver failure, or kidney failure, it's really at that point, it's because you've overdosed because these are like food. You don't even have to, when a lot of the pills you have to have with food. Well, this is food. You can literally crush my tablets and make it back into a tea. So if
Right.
you're taking, because people are like, oh, pills. Well, it's tea and it's
It's
concentrated form. So
yeah.
it is food and you can take it whenever. I always try to figure out what I'm dealing with because we've got the body clock that I will talk about during, the event, the virtual retreat I will be having on June 2nd, and I'll talk to you about your body and the body clock and when it's good to take different herbs and when it's good to take care of certain parts of you.
Yeah.
Say if you have asthma, they say between 3 and 5 is the lung time. So that is when most people will have an attack. That's when your lungs are most active.
And is that
So,
during the day or evening,
yeah,
or does it
3
matter?
a.m. to 5 a.m., people will
Got it.
wake up like, "Ugh," like what's
Yes.
going on. So
Yep.
it's very interesting when you start really tying this all together. Sometimes it looks like magic or, hoo, but when it is, there are some people have studied this for a very long
Yes.
time. So if you do the work or you go to someone who has, you will be able to get the best treatment with the herbs and tea.
And so you do have a workshop coming up. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So Basically, it's my first virtual workshop. So this is, a new age, new day. I want to talk to people about the teas. If you guys sign up by May 22nd, I'm thinking I could get you, some tea in your hands so you can sit down and we'll have a 15-minute, I'll do a 15-minute tea meditation where we can just kind of sip our tea and meditate. And all meditation is right, is being mindful, is really kind of shutting everything out and just focusing on one thing. How hard is that to do, right?
Come on, Vera, one thing.
Only one, that's it. But the tea makes it easy because it tastes so good and it smells good. So you got all your senses in one space.
Right.
So we can do a nice meditation with that. And I will also talk a little bit about, the COVID issues, who has what are you using? What are you thinking you'd want to have, in your arsenal? So there are things I will suggest. And you can also do a 15-minute free consult after with me. If you are going to do that, I do have a little special promo to give you a little discount on the Eventbrite site. So you just have to let me know and I'll send you the code.
Great. So, will you be talking about, because it's been 3 years of COVID,
Right.
And many of the people that I'm surrounded by, all they've heard about is boosters.
Right.
And nobody's talking about boosting the immune system.
Exactly. And that's key. That's basically the immune system and inflammation are what we're targeting.
Yeah.
Because that is the beginning of dis-ease. And if you can find the herbs and target the right spaces, right, the upper, middle, and lower burners, if you can find a way to move that chi, that energy, then you find, I try to explain chi as a flowing river, okay? You've got, from head to toe, your circulation, your nervous system, all those things have to be active to be able to move through any type of pathogens that come through. So, I like to go ahead and, show people how to do that with the herbs. And we'll talk about that with COVID for sure.
Yeah, because it's not just COVID, right? I mean, you could get Lyme, you could get fibromyalgia, you could have arthritis. So building up your immune system helps people feel more confident and it puts control back in their hands.
Right.
So
and that's what we want. We want to empower people, right? And that's what the book is about. Yeah. That's why I'm so glad to be part of it, because I see so many people that just feel so helpless, that they've hit a wall and nobody's really giving them any real answers. And sometimes the answers are within, and we can show you how to tap into that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I know people who have been in pain for 20, 30, 40 years. That's a long time. So I'm glad you're doing this. Very glad you're doing this.
Yeah. So we got to get the word out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to leave the link for your workshop here. If everybody should be signing up for this, this is a no-brainer. We need it. And even for all the little kids, right? So that the kids can build up their immune system.
Oh, for sure.
It's coming allergy season. Everybody's sneezing, everybody's sniffling. So there's definitely herbs and stuff we can learn in this workshop to help us deal with all of that.
Exactly.
So any last words for people watching?
Well, I guess, I just feel, like I said, it's really important for, all of us to learn, different things that we can do for ourselves, for our family. It empowers you. It allows you, to continue to be well. I'm a grandmother and I work with my grandson quite a bit. He loves the tea. and you talk about local honey, all those things this time of year, all the local things that you can get, but yeah, and then, you can go and do a real deep dive and do a consultation, look at the pills that you're on or the ones that you are not and what you may need. I have people that just keep throwing things at, whatever it is, and they don't know what works or what might work. And, so it can get expensive. And I can really target that for you. So it's very inexpensive to have these herbs on, in your medicine cabinet, $20, $30 a month. You can't say that with pharmaceutical, so yeah, so it's there. And, sometimes you can even just grab your cinnamon, to warm you up that you've already got it,
Right.
so I can guide you and, help you do that. But yeah, that's really what we're going to talk about, from the simplest things to some of the more intensive treatments. They actually did get a 21 ingredient formula that was FDA approved for COVID. So, just like they're talking about taking a shot, taking a drink or whatever, they're giving you, these things that you can get prophylactically, at the urgent care center. You can do that for yourself at home for sure.
Awesome. Vera, this has been great. Can you share with everybody how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. You can either find me on Facebook. I'm under Auntie Berry, AUNTYBERRY. I have my own website, which is www.auntyberry.com. You can see all my contact information there. I work along the shoreline. If you ever want to actually come in and get a session, I work in Stonington, and I'm starting to do some sessions in West Hartford. So kind of all over Connecticut, but it's okay. It's okay. It's a small state.
Yes. Well, thank you, Vera, and everybody watching and listening. If you have any questions, please reach out to Vera. She's amazing, and we all need some natural healing in our lives today. So thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.